Good afternoon. We'll now start our pep talk. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody. Please mute yourself, but always show your video picture. Sign in your name, your Facebook account, or email address in the chat box. Please include the names of companions attending with you. Use the chat box to ask questions and make comments while the pep talk is on. There will be group pictures at the start and end of the pep talk. As a reminder, also, please take the online learning COOM evaluation test exercise for mastery of learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate. The link has been placed in the chat box. Obtaining 50 OLETE certificates will entitle one to a voucher for a ROJoson telemedical consultation. A request from me, please type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. Let's now have a group picture taking before we start the pep talk proper in 2 minutes. Please turn on your video, show your faces. I have a patient empowerment program in which I like to empower the lay people or patients to take control in the management of their health. I started the pep talk on May 15, 2021. There are 3 courses in the pep talk. I completed the 4th course on October 9, 2021. From October 23, 2021 onwards, I have been tackling health disorder and health issue courses. This may take 3 years or longer depending on our enthusiasm and discipline and perseverance. My pep talk today is entitled Intentional Living Plan as a Strategy for Well-Being, Sharing Number 1. The empowerment objective is for the lay people to have an essential understanding of intentional living plan as a strategy for well-being in their health management. The contents of this pep talk will be the following. What is well-being? How does it differ from wellness? What is an intentional living plan? Why use an intentional living plan as a strategy for well-being? And then there'll be a sharing of experiences or experience from someone who has formulated an intentional living plan. Disclaimer, the ROJoson pep talk contains ROJoson's thoughts, perceptions, opinions, and recommendations culled from the experiences of Dr. Joson and other professionals and other sources. So we will have an introduction before the sharing. So what is well-being? How does it differ from wellness? According to the Oxford Dictionary, wellness is a state of being healthy, whereas well-being is considered a general health and happiness, a state of emotional, physical, psychological well-being. The difference between the two is that well-being is more encompassing than wellness. Wellness is more focused on physical health, while well-being emphasizes mental and emotional health. Our society and our medical community have generally viewed health through the lens of physical health rather than the emotional and mental health, and define good health mostly by the absence of a disease or an illness or disability. Well-being embraces more than just physical health. It takes into account the entire person, both body and mind, not merely by the absence of illness. Its approach to health includes the presence of positive mental states emotions, and moods. In its simplest terms, well-being can be described as a state of good health, happiness, fulfillment, and purpose, judging one's life positively and feeling engaged. Thus, all of us should aim for well-being, not just wellness. The next topic is what is an intentional living plan? Intentional living is essentially living with intention. That's the crudest definition. Intentional living plan is essentially a plan on how to live with intention. There are a lot of different concepts and strategies by different authors on how to go about living with intention. Some would put religious intention or living with the intention in the context of a religion. Some would promote living with intention in the context of a mere transformation to make a more clear-cut direction in daily life, but without a final destination and without a finish line, and without special emphasis on health goal. Dr. ROJoson has his own concept and strategies and template on intentional living plan. His operational definition of intentional living plan is as follows. Intentional living plan is a plan you make targeting a certain number of years in which you write down things you intend or want to achieve or accomplish on your graduation day. Graduation day means the last day of your targeted year, which will make you feel you have lived your life to the fullest, you have lived a meaningful life, and you are contented and ready to die a happy death. Of course, the assumption and reality is that all of us will die one day. Put it another way, intentional living is living with intention, living guided by your long-term visions and goals in life, and then designing and implementing and continually evaluating a course of action, so that's a plan, to reach your long-term visions and goals, the overall expected impact of which is contentment or well-being of the life you have lived. Why use an intentional living plan as a strategy for well-being? From my experience and from the writings of other authors, making an intentional living plan not only promotes contentment but also contributes to longevity, longer lifespan. Overall, it promotes well-being. Remember our definition of well-being. So in its simplest term, it can be described as a state of good health, happiness, fulfillment and purpose, judging one's life positively, and feeling engaged. This is the simplest definition we have to remember for well-being. In an intentional living plan, one makes a plan to live up to a certain number of years being productive and contented. And in so doing, particularly if one includes a healthy lifestyle in the plan to keep alive to the target graduation day, there is a high probability that one can reach the target and therefore live longer. So I'm now done with the introduction of intentional living plan. We will now go to sharing of experience. This sharing of experience will be from someone who has formulated an intentional living plan.
Good morning, everyone. I am Riley Stasi, here to share with you my intentional living plan, which I prepared when I was 71 years old, with a 5-year target that is from 71 years old to 76 years old, or from 2021 to 2026. Why a 5-year target? I can die anytime, but only God knows as to when, how, and where. Having been a cancer survivor for 22 years of long remission, I think and feel that I have a good chance for another 5 years extension, God willing. Physically, I maintain a healthy lifestyle, and I am blessed to have doctors like Dr. ROJoson, who guides me in my cancer journey and mentors me to be an empowered patient, having control of my health. Spiritually, my strong faith in God will also sustain me in going through life's challenges and trials throughout the 5 year target. Persons included in my intentional living plan are spouse, son, and significant others, to include son's partner, siblings, extended family, and friends with varying ages. If I were to die at 76 in 2026, what are the legacies that I want to leave behind for my family and community? I married in 1980, and I would like to be remembered as a good wife, faithful to my marriage vows and to my duties and obligations, kind and understanding, hardworking, patient, and forgiving. I have an only child, my son, and I would like to be remembered as a good mother, loving, supportive, selfless, caring, patient, understanding, providing range of experiences, teaching responsibilities and good moral values, a proud mother of a talented son who was top one in the architecture board exam in 2006, top 10 in the master planners exam in 2007, and top 4 in the environmental planners exam in 2008. With 5 siblings and many friends, I would like to be remembered as a good sister and friend, kind, generous, considerate, caring, and supportive. I was a teacher at UP Baguio, UP Manila, and De La Salle TAF during the 70s and early 80s, and I would like to be remembered as a good teacher, patient, open-minded, fair, respectful, approachable, and able to instill confidence in students, well informed of the subject matter, and an effective communicator. As a government employee of the Intramuros administration for 3 decades till retirement in 2015, I would like to be remembered as a good public servant, dedicated, competent, professional with integrity and honesty, kind, open-minded, and a team player. I currently serve our Christ the King Parish and Holy Family Sub-Parish in Quezon City, and I would like to be known or remembered as a good and humble church worker, available, accessible, helpful, trustworthy. For more than 20 years, I served as a cultural volunteer worker of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts and Society of Filipino Archivists. Presently, I'm still a member of the society and also of the Cancer Crusaders Club. I'd like to be remembered as a good volunteer worker and a staunch advocate of the preservation, promotion of cultural heritage, the arts, history and culture, documentary heritage like records and archives, gender and development and women empowerment, breast cancer awareness programs. What will I do if I were to die at 76 years old in 2026? For myself, I will do the following: maintain a healthy lifestyle through regular exercise and healthy diet, avoid accidents at home and on the road, live within my means or budget, downsize or declutter things accumulated through the years, organize personal and family records, documents, and photos, feel blessed, peaceful, and contented with what I have, enjoy retirement and celebrate life with my family and friends, with travels, hobbies, advocacies, and apostolates. Manage and cope with stresses and problems in life. Anyway, everything will come to pass. Continue to avail of Dr. Hawson's free mentoring program through his pep talk on patient empowerment, breast cancer awareness, and other programs. Continue to inspire breast cancer victims and survivors by sharing my cancer journey when given the chance. Continue to serve as lector commentator and as assistant coordinator of Divine Mercy Apostolate in our parish and sub-parish. Honor and glorify God with prayers, thanksgiving, and obedience to His will. For spouse, forgive and move on with my life together with my son. For my son, love and support all his interests, decisions, and endeavors in life. Guide him in facing life's challenges and difficulties in the way of Christian values of honesty, humility, and hard work. Pray for healing of brokenness, for anger, resentment toward his father to subside in time. Pray for his good health, financial stability, and success in life. Share learnings from Dr. Hawson's pep talk on patient empowerment, ILP, HLP, and others. For significant others, namely my son's partner, give love, support, and treat her like my own daughter, with prayers to overcome all legal impediments prior to receiving the sacrament of matrimony with my son. For my immediate and extended families and friends, give love, help, support, and be a blessing always to them, and share learnings from Dr. Hawson's pep talk. If I were to die at 76 years old in 2026, what will I do to prepare for a happy death, contented and ready to leave this world? I will try to stay alive and not crippled by maintaining a healthy lifestyle through regular exercise, enough sleep, healthy and nutritious diet. Try to be productive, overcome laziness and boredom by setting exciting goals for myself to face the new day. Endorse or bequeath whatever little material possessions to my son. The clutter stops, like books, clothing, housewares, memorabilia, and donate this to institutions, family, or friends. Make an advanced healthcare directive on how my son and family members will manage me when I am near death and afterlife. Maximize bonding with family, siblings, in-laws, friends during special occasions. Meet up face-to-face after the pandemic or online video, chat, and other social media platforms. Make peace with everybody by forgiving people who hurt me and asking forgiveness to people whom I may have done wrong. Enjoy myself. Make peace with myself as I relax in God's love and grace. Make peace with God, confess and ask forgiveness for my sins and make amends. And lastly, pray for a happy and peaceful death, that I may commend my body and soul to God, and that I be blessed and anointed with the last sacrament. Signed, Ridis J. Basid, October 6, 2021.
Thank you, ladies, for sharing your experience on your intentional living plan. I am confident that your sharing will be an inspiration and motivate others to formulate an intentional living plan in order to promote a well-being. And now we'll make a summary of what were taken up. So I discuss what is well-being, how does it differ from wellness, what is an intentional living plan, why use an intentional living plan as a strategy for well-being. Then we heard from someone, specifically Ms. Radis Basig, okay, presenting her experience in formulating an intentional living plan. To repeat, intentional living is essentially living with intention. Intentional living plan is a plan on living with intention. Formulating an intentional living plan is a strategy in staying healthy and contented. And formulating an intentional living plan is a strategy for well-being. Takeaway in relation to patient empowerment: be always in touch with reliable medical information on intentional living plan as a strategy for well-being. Knowledge is power. It gives power. Use the 4Ks of patient empowerment: kaalaman, kakayanan, karapatan, and kapangyarihan to gain greater control over decisions and make better decisions on intentional living plan as a strategy for well-being in your health management. So with that, I end my pep talk today, intentional living plan as a strategy for well-being, sharing number 1. We hope we have achieved the empowerment objective for the lay people to have an essential understanding of intentional living plan as a strategy for well-being in your health management. So before we go to the question and answer portion of the pep talk, reminder, please take the OLETE for Mastery of Learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like this. Obtaining 50 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee or participants to a voucher for a ROJoson telemedical consultation. Feedback: please type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. Let's now have a group picture taking before we start the question and answer and interactions. Please show your beautiful faces in the video.